0, FEC 3/4, Channel ID, Guide US TV. You can also download the app to your smartphone. Available for iPhones from the App Store, for Android on Google Play. And now Guide Us TV is available on Roku. Get guided with Guide Us TV.
Yeah, all right, I'm okay on that.
You're on live. It's in your hands. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah. And we're coming to you live all the way from our studios right here in Southern California. And I hope that we have some guests with us tonight. Let's see. I hope that we have somebody named Richard all the way from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Let's see if we do have. And,
we're here. Assalamu alaikum.
I hear him talking. Let's see if we can pull him up and have a look at that.
Lazy Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Did you say crazy or lazy? There he is. MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa
Alaikum salam.
MashaAllah. How are you feeling today?
Well, I'm doing better. I think the stone that I was playing with, I think it is gone. So we're making progress.
All right.
And I had a COVID test on Saturday, which came back negative. And I had to have that because I'm having a cataract removed from my eye on Tuesday morning.
Okay.
Yeah, lots of medical stuff going on and waiting in line for a COVID shot at some point in time whenever they get vaccine. It seems to be kind of a little bit of a, nobody seems to have enough. So something in the administration or whatever trying to spit it out and get it out to the health workers. And so they're talking about setting up FEMA tents in all 50 states, getting it to Walmart and other places like that. So they're making some attempts once they get enough vaccine around to start vaccinating everybody. And we'll all look forward to that. Dr. Fauci is still saying maybe fall before things kind of get back to what we kind of thought was normal. Oh. So the road's still a little long yet. But alhamdulillah, we'll move a day at a time, walking with Allah and trusting His wisdom and guidance and strength to get through. There are some days that are good and some days that are not so good. But Allah is always Subhanaka Allahumma. Wa bihamdika wa tabaraka rasmuka wa ta'ala jadduka wa la ilaha ghayruka. Always perfect, praiseworthy. His name is exalted, His majesty is exalted, and there is no God but Him.
MashaAllah. All right, I like that. That's a pep talk and a half. Now, let's see.
That's right.
I think we have another guest with us. Let's check out Sister Kim. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How is everything in Yuma, Arizona?
Not that great. We've been a hot spot for the COVID virus for quite a while now. I thought our numbers were going down enough to be significant, but just today the New York Times had an article about how we were still the highest in the country. And when it comes to the numbers of infections and the percentages of death, and we're still shipping people out to other hospitals around the country because we just don't have room in our own. And so it was very disappointing to see that today.
Yeah, I imagine it was. Well, did you get any rest?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's good to know. Ask me, how did I sleep?
How'd you sleep?
With my eyes closed.
Oh.
You know, everybody was warned before we started the show. All of the guests and the technician, everybody was warned what it was, what we were going to. Yeah. Oh yeah, French fries short of a Happy Meal. Okay. Well, anyway, sister, I wanted to ask you another question. Have you got another dress besides that one that you got on? Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, here we go. Oh, that's so nice. That looks so nice on you, sister. That really does look good. MashaAllah.
What am I wearing now?
Well, I think you ought to know. I mean, it's your clothes. MashaAllah. Anyway, yeah, it looks nice. It's that pink one with the flower, holding the flower.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks nice. Anyway, so Sister Kim, you know that we have Brother Richard, who is with us, and now he's up in Ann Arbor. Let's find out what he said that he had tested out and it came back negative, and that's good, but he still wasn't able to get the vaccine. Did you hear him say that?
Yes, I heard him say that.
Yeah, well, Richard is, let's see. Where did he go?
I'm here.
Yeah. There he is. Okay. Did your wife also get tested for the COVID?
No, she didn't have to. I had to do that because the University of Michigan Hospital, before they would do my cataract surgery on Tuesday, required that I test negative before I came into the hospital.
Oh, okay. So day after tomorrow, you're going to have the cataract surgery?
Yeah, they call it surgery. It takes less than 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And you walk in, they don't put you out anesthesia-wise. They prop your eye open, throw a little numbing stuff on, and half an hour later, you're going home. It's amazing what they do nowadays. I've already had one done. Now I get the other, so I'll be able to see a little clearer, which will be nice. And so that's like at 7:30 in the morning. And
oh, you already had the cataract surgery on one eye? I didn't realize.
Yeah, one done a couple years, maybe a little over a year ago.
Okay.
And now the other one, they said, it's time to do that if you'd like. So I said, yeah, let's do it.
So the hospitals where you are not having this crunch like we have here in California. You're able to go in and get some non-urgent corrections there. Okay.
Our government here in Michigan has been under duress and under attack for being so tough. Keeping restaurants closed and bars closed and movie theaters and all that been really tough. But they were right. They were correct. And our numbers are way down, and things are doing much, much better here. So we don't have that kind of a crunch on the hospitals. And,
well, I just now put my mask on so that if any of the folks there in Michigan are watching, so they'll think that, like, hey, these guys are also,
yeah,
they'll let our program keep broadcasting there. How about that idea?
There you go. Yeah, we're doing pretty good up here. So we're hopefully that the vaccines come out and we can get back to some semblance of normalcy here at some point in time. Inshallah, we'll wait and see.
A lot of people have been talking about getting back to normal, and I didn't know we really had something called normal. Is the you know anything about that normal stuff?
Oh, what's been nice is while we've been fighting COVID-19 with wearing masks and everything, nobody's getting the flu.
Ah, well, there you go.
Because we're being careful, we're washing our hands, wearing masks to prevent COVID, but at the same time, no one's getting sick with influenza. Way, way, way down in numbers of that, which kind of tells us that even when this is all over, wearing masks into public settings of large gatherings of people is not a bad idea. Of keeping ourselves, people in the east, in the Far East, in China, and they wear masks all the time, and so hopefully we make it a habit. Probably won't, but some will. Americans are free spirits. We don't like to be told what to do, so we'll kind of have a rough time with that. Although the president has asked for 100 days of wearing masks, and his goal of getting 100 million vaccinations out in the first 100 days. So we'll see how that all goes, and I hope he's right. We could use a little progress and a little hope. We got a lot of snow and a lot of gray, and a little sunshine and a bird singing, and a little warmth and a little COVID vaccine would go a long way to lifting our spirits around here. But it is what it is. What are you gonna do? You're gonna do nothing except worship Allah and put your life in His hands, and that's good.
Well, yeah, that is that's one concept. I think that we're supposed to trust Allah, but at the same time we have to do our part. In other words, we don't just lay back and say, oh, everything is going to be from Allah, so I'm not going to do anything at all.
No.
We have the expression, tie your camel. Let me take this thing off. Mm-hmm. All right. There's nobody here in the building with me anyway. So, yeah, I can take it off. I really like this. My friends over at Philosopher's Corner, that's the name of their little deal. And they sent me this and a couple of more, and they're really handy, really cute too. They're big enough to cover the beard, and I like that. So, oh, you know what? I wanted to tell everybody about this. Guys, you know we've been talking about the bumper stickers for the cars. Good news, you can also put it on your refrigerator. But seriously, we're going to be mailing them out tomorrow, and we have room for a couple more. So if you would like to get one of these, all you have to do is send me your address. I need not your email address. I need your real address. Send it to contact@guideus.tv. Contact@guideus.tv. You see that? There's a dot there. I want to put it real close so you can see it. .tv. All right? So contact@guideus.tv. Some people complained that they didn't get through, and I think it was because you probably put guideustv.com. And we own that, but it's not set up for any email. So contact, that's the first part, contact@guideus.tv. Got it? Get it. If you send that, just send me your address. There's no charge. Nobody going to demand you pay even for the postage, shipping, handling, and all of that. No, it is FREE free. We want people to know what Islam is really all about. And that's the message right there. However, just in case somebody doesn't like Islam, doesn't like the Quran or whatever, this does not say anything about Islam on it. It just says worship the Creator, not the creation. So if they understand that there is a Creator and they want to worship Him, maybe they'll get on the right track. So that's what I wanted to insist on everybody. All of you that are watching, you should get this. And also, we have one from South Africa, and we're going to be sending his out. Now, here they probably won't get it for like couple weeks, but at least they ordered it. So if you're in another country, even Canada, it takes extra time. We have to go to the post office. We have to fill out a declaration and everything. But I'm willing to do all of my part, if you do your part. All you got to do is send us an email. Then when you get it, be sure you clean the bumper off, take a rag out there and clean it, make sure it's dry, and then put the bumper sticker on your car. All right? That's all you got to do. Simple as that. Right? Right. I know. Somebody just asked, probably they just asked, what was that email again? Okay, I'm going to put it up one more time. Contact at guideus.tv. The at is obviously the A with a circle around it. Got it. All right. Move on to other things. We were talking about this. I didn't know if you knew this, Richard. Are you aware about the thing that I just found out last night and this morning? I followed up on it. I don't know why our doctors hadn't been telling us about this, but the Pfizer, which is the one the Muslims came up with, that in Germany, has had a problem with somebody died after they got the vaccine. Did you know that?
Yeah, I heard that. They said, it's not 100%. Nobody's ever made any declarations about that. They said it's like 95% good, but that doesn't mean that you can go.
One person died, but the story behind it is that person already they were experiencing the COVID-19 at the time they got the shot. They had come down with it a few days before, a week before, and then when they got the vaccine, they died within a few hours, just a few hours, and they passed away. But the person was not an old person. It was not a real old person or anything like, some people are real old, those old people. Oh. Anyway, so the other thing was that, that you qualify if you have a medical issue, like somebody has diabetes, and like the extreme kind of stuff, and they have different things. But if you have allergies, you need to talk to the doctor before you let them give you the vaccine, because some allergies are exactly the thing that this is going to make it worse. So one person had an allergic reaction to the Moderna, and I'm hoping I'm remembering exactly. I don't want to say something the wrong way, but anyway, so they had the EpiPen. What's that? EpiPen, or what's it called?
Yeah,
EpiPen.
Yeah.
Sister, you know about that stuff, right?
Yeah, it's an EpiPen.
Okay. This person always carries it with him because he has allergies. And he had a reaction, and immediately the people there at the hospital, they allowed him to go ahead and stick himself with the EpiPen, and he was okay within just a short time, like 30 minutes, he was okay. But he had a reaction to it, so it was good that he knows to do that. So if anybody has allergies, I remember I had a problem with poison oak. You know what poison oak is, right? Like right. Poison ivy, poison oak. Well, I had trying to get it off of the telephone pole where I used to live, and it was wrapped around the telephone pole on the telephone line, and it was like a sheet of it hanging down. Nobody wanted to mess with it, and I thought, well, I'll just go out there and get that off of there. And I'm pulling it down right and left, and didn't know it was poison oak. I thought it was some kind of vines. Well, it was, but the worst kind. So as I was pulling and tugging on it, and it was, some of it would break, and I pulled harder, and then all of a sudden it just came down and it wrapped around me, and I was wrapped in it, and I was trying to get out of that all, and finally I got out, and within a few hours I started having breaking out. My face started swelling up, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And the thing was, I was doing this in the early part of the day, and then at night I had to go down to I think Cincinnati. I think it was Cincinnati, Ohio. And we went down there, and when I got there, it was on a Sunday, I remember, and my head was swollen out really, really bad. His house, and fixed me up, and he got me some stuff, and right away I felt better. And he had the things there that needed to be done, but then he was telling me about this EpiPen, and I never did bother to get it, but I think that would have been a good idea. What do you think?
Well, usually the EpiPen is used for people that go into anaphylactic shock after they've had an exposure. Real common one is bee stings for people who are allergic to bees. So if you weren't having trouble breathing, yes, the EpiPen would probably bring down your symptoms, but there's probably also other things that you could take, like prescription grade Benadryl will take down swelling, hives, rashes, and things like that. Okay. So I don't know if an EpiPen would have been needed in your case, although I didn't see your face swell up, so I could be wrong.
Well, yeah, it didn't look too cute. Did not look cute at all. So, yeah. The other thing that, a discussion about something that came up, a friend of mine in New Jersey, he's actually on our board of directors, but he was telling me yesterday that they wanted their son to get the vaccine, but he's not old enough. And I said, what? I know he's a teenager. He said, yeah, he's only 16, and so therefore they don't allow the vaccine yet for him. I said, what? I didn't know that the kids couldn't get it. Did you?
Yeah, most states have a limitation. Depends on what state you're in. In some states, you got to be over 65. In some states, you've got to be over 75. But most states have restrictions right now for people to either be of senior citizen age or a first responder of some sort. For example, my mother is about 60 years old, and she just got the vaccine because she works with the elderly in their own home. So she qualified to get the vaccine early. But my father is not old enough in his state to get the vaccine yet, so he has to wait.
Well, how old is your father?
70.
70? California, you're 65.
Yeah, it's 75 in Massachusetts.
Wow. Whoa. Whoa. Well, yeah. I guess all the politicians there, the Senate and the House, they will be old enough because they're always... Anyway, so... Well, sister, I would add this to it, that the person that I was speaking to said that he had already got it, and he's much younger than me, but he was a special case, I guess. So he got it, but he said that the young people are not allowed to get it because they haven't a different issue for them. Like if he was 18 years old, he could have got it. He could have got it, but in their state, he could have got it. But he's not. They're working on something to maybe come up with another vaccine for the younger people. I don't know. Is it because they need the vaccine for the elders, or is it there's some problem with kids getting it?
I haven't heard any problems with young people getting it. I know that at least in Arizona and I believe in California, they're restricting it to frontline workers and the elderly because of the number of vaccines that they got. They don't have enough to go around yet. So they're limiting it to the people that are at the highest risk of exposure and highest risk of having severe effects if they were to get the virus.
Okay, well, I wanted to get some update for me, my benefit, and I think that this is a good chance for us to switch over to our topic. And we did have a topic for who remembers what our topic is?
I don't think you mentioned it.
Oh, well, it's a continuation of yesterday's topic. What was it?
Oh! What was it yesterday? We went all over the place.
Yeah.
We talked about ICLA for a long time.
All right. The subject was about marriage.
Oh, okay.
Who remembers that? Anybody remember that?
I remember the last 53 years.
Woo-wee. All right. Okay, so we were talking about marriage, and the best thing to do is, as I always like to mention about this, is to go to our website, which is let me pull up the website for the folks that search for Islam. There it is. So search for Islam.com or SheikhGoogle.com. Now that Sheikh, S-H-E-I-K, no H after it. All right. I would like to mention that. And if you go there and type in marriage, then what'll come up? It says, you can see it right here. Just Ask Islam about marriage, 4 years old, married in the USA. Yeah, let's talk about the age limit. What about age limits? Because, you know, a lot of people mention about the age of Aisha when she got married to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Have you heard about this, Richard?
Yeah, a little, not much.
Sister Kim, did you hear about it?
Oh, yes, I've heard all sorts of ages from her. It seems like everybody's got a different argument as to how old she was.
Oh, that's true, but they want to stipulate the fact that she was too young to get married. That's the point, right?
Right.
All right, so we put an article up on Islam Newsroom, and you can see it right here. It's 4 years old and married, but this is in the USA. 4 years old. And, yeah, 4 years old. Now, there's another one that was married, that was in the, this one is in Europe. 4 years old and married to a 7-year-old in Europe. So I would like to just open that up for everybody's attention, you know. 4 years old, 9 years old, 7 years old, and even babies getting married. And until the year 2008, anyone under 18 years old could get married in the state of Arkansas with their parents' consent. And that's right, even babies could get married as long as their parents agreed, and that was in Arkansas in the United States. The original law was meant to allow pregnant teenagers to get married if the parents approved. But later, the embarrassed lawmakers, that's what it says, made it 17 for boys and 16 for girls. And by the way, this is something also that was in Louisiana when I was a boy growing up, because they would sell alcohol to an 18-year-old boy, but a 16-year-old girl, she could buy the alcohol. And I never did figure that one out. Anyway, so, and that, by the way, this is just the beginning, because there are many weird laws about marriage, and in Europe and the USA both. Marriage in old Europe and early America was, and I'm going to underline that right here, common. It was common for a 9-year-old and 12 years old, a 9, 10, 11, and 12-year-old to get married, but 4 years old and 7 years old also would, maybe exception to the rule, but this was allowed. It was all allowed. So we want to, if you would like to read this article, just go to Sheikh Google or search for Islam, either one, and then when you type in the word marriage, the second one that comes up, you can click on that and read it for yourself. So what about that? Now, I want to talk about the age of Aisha, what her age really was, what the conditions were behind her marriage to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when we come back. So we're going to take this short break, and then we're going to be right back right after this. And I encourage everybody to stay tuned and stay guided, and remember what your purpose is. Your purpose. I'm going to hold this up one more time, because this is our purpose, worshiping the Creator, not the creation. Stay tuned, stay guided, way guided.
You're watching The Newsroom, Islam Newsroom. The news you want, when you want it.
And just like the pen that doesn't write, well, worthless. Don't be worthless. Get guided with Guide Us TV. Get the free app, guideus.app. All right. Yeah, I tried to time that with the little promo there. So that you guys can get the bumper sticker. I want you to get this bumper sticker. So I'll remind you again, contact at guideus.tv. Contact at guideus.tv. If you send us use your email to contact us, but send us your actual address. Be sure you give the full address, because the post office will not let us send out something that's not right. And we didn't want to waste the stamps and the money for all of the bumper stickers that winding up in the dead letter office anyway. So please do that. Okay? All right. Now, we were talking about some of the things about the age. Let me go back and put this up so you can see it. Now, we talked about marriage, and I told you that you could go type in the word, let me show you, Sheikh, S-H-E-I-K, or search for Islam.com, either one. And type in the word marriage, and then go to the second one right there. And that one is the one that the 4-year-old, there you go. All right. But now let's type in age Aisha, marriage. Okay. You can, well, you don't even need the age thing, because it'll still come up. Watch this. How old was Aisha at the marriage to Muhammad? There it is. And you can read it. And as a matter of fact, you might be interested to know that according to the Catholic Church, and I read this on their part of their encyclopedia, it said that Mary when she delivered Jesus, according to the Catholic Church, she was 13. But she was like 12 when she got married to Joseph. Yeah. And we don't have that in Islam because there's no person named Joseph that she gets married to. She has a baby, and the baby is a miracle baby. We know that. But having a husband in the way kind of muddies the water on the story. You know, it's a real miracle. She was in a very sacred place, and people there would take food to her. Okay, and she would have food that came from the angels, and it was really a big deal. Then all of a sudden, she's gone, and she comes back with this newborn baby. That's the story that we have, and it's really a miracle. Anyway, let's go to this story here. So, let's open it up. Take a look at the story. How old was Aisha when her marriage, excuse me, to Muhammad? I want to give you out the facts. Okay, this is really an important issue because a lot of people are trying to attack Islam over this, and they don't know the details. And this is somebody in Karachi, Pakistan, who's asking. This came to us from one of the students in Pakistan and said, I'm a 9th grade student in the Catholic school in Karachi, Pakistan. All right? So, yeah, the Catholic schools are the best schools there in Pakistan. I've been told that. And many, many, many people go to those schools because they're better and so on. She says, though, I don't know if it's a boy or girl, the student says that they were given an assignment. Why did Muhammad marry an immature little girl only 6 years old? There it is. Now, at the Catholic school, they have a right to teach whatever they want to teach, okay? And they're saying that, you know, that the children have to come up with a dissertation or some kind of a writing to talk about why did Muhammad marry an immature little girl 6 years old. Okay. And that was at St. Patrick's Church. And by the way, when I was there some time ago, I met the bishop at that time, Father Rosa. What was his name? Forgot it. It's been 20 years. So anyway, he told me several things that didn't jive. He said that the church accepts that the evolution that people came from monkeys. And I was shocked over that. And he also mentioned something about the Bible that doesn't stack up either. And I asked him about that, and he said that there were so many books in there, and the Catholic Bible has 7 more books than the Protestant Bible, so that's 73. Because the Protestant Bible is 66. And when I asked him about it, he said, no, it's only 72. And I was trying to figure out what book did they throw out. So whenever he came to this subject, I really wanted to know more about it. So that is the question. Why did Muhammad marry a little girl when she was only an immature girl of 5 or 6 years old? Now that's how they worded it, 5 or 6 years old. Wow. Okay. And what is the answer? Well, take a look. Here it is right here. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not marry anybody at 5 years old or 6 years old, even though, and I'm careful now, even though the hadith is talking about Aisha saying 6 years old. Now, that's true. She said 6 years old. But read the hadith. The translation of the hadith says that she was outside playing in the dirt along with her friends, with her doll or something like this. And her mother came out to her and took her into the house. And her father was sitting there with somebody he grew up with, which was Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And her father was offering her in marriage to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then she said she went back outside to play. So how did you get out of that any sexual relationship or any kind of marriage or anything? And by the way, her father had already engaged her to somebody else, and that didn't work out. So she had already been engaged, because that was the tradition of the people at that time. They had no problem even getting a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old or whatever married up. And get this out of your head, it's not about sex. It's about aligning the families or the tribes together. Okay, that's what they were working on, and that's been done in Europe and Great Britain and so on. They have always had this kind of a thing where they try to bring countries together, tribes together, so that there's no war between them, and they will go forward and fight against the common enemy. That's normal, okay? And it's not about love, because little kids, what do they know about love? All right? So the question should be, what was the age when they actually got married? That's what you didn't know. And what was the condition about it? And if you're all hung up about sex, then ask her, because the Prophet ﷺ never talked about it. He never talked about intimate things about his wife of Khadijah, and he was married to her until she passed away. It seems like he was, I forget how many years it was. He married her when she was like 40 and he was 25. And until she passed away, he didn't even look at another woman, okay? But then when people saw him grieving, they wanted to help him get married, and they suggested different ones to him. And he did wind up marrying, I think it was Sauda. But you can read about this article because it's all detailed on here. And so now if you understand that his best friend is offering him marriage, but look what the Quran is saying in this chapter about women, number 4, that's chapter 4. It says in, I think it's verse 19 or verse 21. It's telling you that women cannot be forced into anything. You cannot inherit women against their will. That's one of the translations. But a woman has to be a woman before she can get married, meaning she has to have her menstrual cycle, and she has to be old enough to make that choice, and she has to have her father with her, or her older brother, or her grown son, because, well, of course, that would mean she had been married before. But this is a part of the marriage laws, and this is what we're talking about now. So what is the age? The woman has to be a woman, not a child. And she has to know her own mind, and she has to have either her father with her or a grown brother with her. Yes, and otherwise it's not a legal marriage, okay? That is something. The other rest of that story, you have to read it on your own, because we really wanted to focus on, could anybody marry a little girl? No. But also, they can't marry a little boy. They can't get the boy married off either. He has to have his maturity. In other words, some hair is growing under his arms, or his mustaches start coming in, and so on. That, in other words, mature. So
now, if I can interrupt for just a second,
please, yeah.
We have this understanding about marriage, but the age at which they considered somebody to be adult, I mean, they really considered them to be an adult at that time. I've heard stories of a 14-year-old general who fought on behalf of Islam, and he was leading armies at 14. And so, you know, when you say they have to be old enough for marriage, you have to keep in mind that they were considered an adult in society, not just for the purpose of marriage.
Well, there are a lot of weird marriage laws in the United States and in Europe, and I want to call attention to that these ages of consent. But how in the world could a boy or girl have a mature attitude about something and they are not developed? So this is one of the considerations. So that 14-year-old who is out there fighting for sake of Allah was a mature person. He was not a little baby boy. Although there are some boys that reach 18 years old, they still act like a baby, you know? Not very mature at all.
Oh, yes, I know.
But in the case where a boy is not a boy anymore, he's a man. And sometimes that'll happen at 12 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old. If they're old enough to sire a baby, in other words, they could have intimacy with their wife and then she would get pregnant, then that's considered mature. In states that we've been talking about ages in states tonight about the vaccine, but this is something that is related to puberty, not related to any age that somebody's going to come up with and say, well, you know, that this state, the politicians have agreed and so on, because that's not how it works, because people are different. Somebody doesn't mature until they're 16 or 17. They don't get the pubic hair. They don't. They're not able to. So that's no. They have to be mature, and they have to want to get married, because if they don't want to, you can't force them. That is Islam. Now, if you said, well, I heard about some girl that she's been forced by her parents to do this or that. Okay, so what is your point? But are you saying that's Islam automatically because you read an article? That's against Islam. You read it in the Quran. Everybody has rights. I've talked about this before. But rights are a big part of Islam, a very big part of Islam. Rights for me, rights for you. And my rights stop where your rights are on the line too, because I'm not able to throw my deal over on you, and you're not able to do the same the other way. If you follow what I'm saying, I mean that when it comes to rights, there's also limits. And this is a big deal in Islam. Know your limits, because you don't have the ultimate right to just go out and do anything you want to do. No, you have limits. You can go up to that point and you stop. Yeah, somebody should have told them about that a couple Wednesdays ago, right? So,
oh, yes.
Yeah. I think Sister Kim, you said something. What did you want to say?
Oh, no, I was just agreeing with you about the people that should have known their limits a couple of Wednesdays ago.
Oh, okay. All right. Richard, what does what does Christianity say about this? Never mind about the states, but as far as I'm talking about Protestant Christianity, we already talked about the Catholic Church saying that Mary was 13 years old when she delivered the baby. So I don't know. What do you think?
Well, there's such a variety of things, of expressions of marriage in the Old Testament. Where there's marriage, marriage of a brother's widow, marriage of between a rapist and a woman, and on and on and on. So it's like, if one says, well, I believe in biblical marriage, if you go to the New Testament only, then it's a nuclear family of a man and a woman, where it's written, a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife. The Old Testament is, has a lot of things, concubines and slaves and everything else going on. But the New Testament is real clear that a man shall leave his father and mother. And if you were going to be a deacon in a church, you had to be in a one-person marriage. And so that's pretty much it. I mean, according to the state's laws and everything, you cannot make that decision for yourself if you're under 18. So if the call is for us to be obedient to, our government, then we have to abide by that as well. And I know a lot of cults and different things have spun off into all kinds of things. And Jim Jones had an infinite amount of wives and infinite amount of boys and all kinds of other things going on. So, but in the legal world, you have to be 18. It used to be 21. So, because I was married when I was 20, and my mother had to go to the courthouse with me and sign for a marriage license for me to be able to get married. So things have changed a little bit now. But the Bible is one man, one woman. In the beginning, God created Adam and Eve, and they adhere to that.
Well, when we talk about the age, I think that is a very important part, but also that they have the right to get married to whomever they want to, if both parties agree. Now, suppose a girl wants to marry a boy, but he doesn't want to get married. Well, then he has his rights too. But if both of them want to get married and they are mature and their parents are supporting that, then that's a good deal, no problem. But they have to both be mature. They both have to want to accept that. And the parents must have at least consultation with them, okay, and have influence on them. It's not absolute that if a girl decides that she doesn't want to get married, she decides, I don't want to, but that is absolute, that she doesn't want to, then nobody can force her. But if she wants to and her parents don't want her to, that means that they've reached their limit and they have to back off because she wants to make that mistake or whatever it is, and that's her right because she is mature. And it doesn't equate to what year she was born or how old she is in a calendar. It is about her maturity, and if she is mature, meaning physically mature. Now, if you said emotionally, she's la 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 la, no, that's not for you to decide. Once she is physically mature, she can decide, okay? And that's how it is. Now, there could be other factors. People want to invest into the conversation. They want to say this and say that and so on. Well, but she doesn't have to listen to that. I think that a smart person would realize that I could take some good lessons from my parents, or maybe not. Maybe my parents are messed up, okay? And so they need to think for themselves. And one of the big things, now we're going to get into another area, is, Richard, if in Christianity, if you had a big decision to make, and you're a good practicing Christian, do you go to the Bible and just like open it up and put your finger down and see what it says? Or do you go to the pastor and ask him? Or do you just flip a coin? Or what do most Christians do when they have a big decision to make?
Well, we always talk a lot about that in youth circles, finding the will of God for a particular event or a particular thing in your life. And we always encourage our young people to do a number of things. They needed to pray and see if they felt an inner peace about the decision they were about to make. They were to consult the Bible to see if there was any, conflict there. If someone was going, I got to decide whether or not I'm going to rob First National Bank on Sunday, and I'm going to pray about it and see what happens, that they needed to consult the Bible and to understand that, no, the Bible is very clear about that. And First National Bank and Second National Bank and all those national banks that's off limits. But there's other gray areas that we would then encourage someone to go to their pastor and seek counsel from them, the parents, and maybe other church leaders in the congregation who could give them wisdom. But ultimately, the decision was left up to them. But we said there's a lot of ways. One of the things we really encourage people, if they're going to make a major decision, is to give it some time. That you don't just, oh man, I just feel like I want to marry this girl. Just give it a little bit of time, and or I want a new job. I'm going to quit I'm going to quit my job and trust God to give me a new job that I'll like. It's just like, whoa, just slow down, and don't be impulsive, but to consider the consequences, the ramifications.
Because I have to interrupt you because we're about to run out of time. I really am enjoying hearing you tell about that. So I would like to tell you now about what does Islam say about making a major decision like marriage, and that is similar to what you were talking about. It's called Salat al-Istikhara. We actually make our salah. Salah is a connection with Allah. And in that, you're doing your salah and you're asking Allah at the end of it, and you're asking Him at a certain way. If it's good for me, bring it to me, make it easy for me. If it's bad for me, and then take it far away from me and me far away from it, and make me happy with that. So that I just capsulized it because we're out of time. But in another program, if somebody calls in and asks about Salat al-Istikhara, we'll be happy to talk about it. And speaking about that, tomorrow we're going to have our doctors with us, and you can call in and ask them all of these questions about the vaccine, about the spread of this and what's going on, and some of the things that we need to know. So guys, share this right now. Let other people know, and stay guided with
Guide Us TV.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Guide Us TV. Stay tuned. And just like the pen that doesn't write, well,
Allah, you are my Lord. I bow to you. Allah, oh my Allah, you are my Lord. I bow to you.